I've been looking forward to Black Swan for quite some time, well, since it was announced, because the director, Darren Aronofsky, is one of my favourite directors out there working today. He's responsible for one of my favourite films of all time, which is Requiem for a Dream. I also really love his other films, especially The Wrestler, the Mickey Rourke movie. I've been looking forward to Black Swan for, well, because it's a Darren Aronofsky movie, but also because Black Swan and The Wrestler were originally one film that was split into two, because Darren Aronofsky felt it was too much story and narrative for one film. So I was really quite intrigued, because it's almost like the sister project of The Wrestler. So I've been anticipating this movie for so long. I actually got the opportunity to see it the other day with my friend Mike, and let me just say, I was really impressed. I really enjoyed Black Swan. I'm sure by now that most of you know the plot, but it's basically about Natalie Portman, who is a ballerina given the lead role in Swan Lake, and the pressure is a bit too much for her, and she goes mental over the course of the film, and it's really no secret. It's in the trailer. She begins to think she's transforming into a black swan, and it's really... I didn't really know what to expect, because Darren Aronofsky has a habit of taking a genre but approaching it in a completely kind of unique and original way. And this film, to me, while I was watching it, had elements of kind of like gritty drama, you know, but also horror as well. There was a kind of a strong horror influence over the movie, which I really enjoyed. Black Swan is essentially a culmination of several different, really impressive elements, the first of which is the acting. Now, Natalie Portman, the hype around her performance has been quite high. People have been saying, you know, she deserves an Oscar nomination, if not the statue itself. Now, I was a little bit dubious about this, but when I went in and watched the film, I have to say I was floored by her performance. She really does sell the kind of mental instability over the course of the film. For no moment throughout the film did I doubt the journey that her character was on. You know, she completely convinced me that she was losing her mind gradually, and I think the way that she shows it as well as almost being not necessarily downtrodden, but she just feels beaten and upset. It's a really engaging performance, and you really feel for her. And then you contrast that with Mila Kunis's character, who is almost like the cocksure kind of wild card in the ballet, who is basically somewhat of a negative influence on Natalie Portman's character. And Mila Kunis really kind of brings that charisma and confidence to the role, and makes you buy their relationship, their friendship, and subsequently their relationship, which the chemistry between the two of them is really good. I mean, it's two really brilliant actresses opposite each other, and I completely bought it the whole time. I thought their chemistry was excellent. I thought that the standout performance in the film for me was Barbara Hershey as Natalie Portman's mother. Now, she manages to, through her performance, build a very unsettling atmosphere throughout the film. Now, the tone is very unsettling, and I mean, Darren Aronofsky does several things, like the use of mirrors and reflections when he's filming scenes. He manages to compose his shots so they're very unsettling, like during the ballet. The ballet is filmed with handheld 16mm cameras, very close up, so you can only see the dancer, you can't see what's going on around, and it just disorientates you and makes you wonder what's out there in the dark, you know. But I think the main element of that unsettling tone is Barbara Hershey's performance as Natalie Portman's mother, because she is very kind of overbearing, but not in a positive, I just want to protect my daughter kind of way. It does hint at several aspects of their relationship that could be very unhealthy. Now, whether or not that's intentional, I don't know, because this is not a very subtle movie. If Darren Aronofsky has a point to make, he will hit you with it in the face. I mean, if there's a scene where an old man looks at Natalie Portman and starts masturbating when she's, you know, starting to think about masturbating herself. And it's not a subtle film, so these little kind of subtle indications for the relationship between Natalie Portman and Barbara Hershey, you know, I'm not entirely sure whether... It's almost like maybe there was another draft of the script where their relationship was really fleshed out and was really kind of out there and you know, the crux of the story, and this is what we see in the film is kind of the remnants of that. But I did think that Barbara Hershey's very kind of off-kilter performance does cement that unsettling tone throughout the course of the film. The film is absolutely beautiful to look at as well. It's the same director of photography, I forget his name, but he did Requiem for a Dream as well. It's got that kind of very kind of nitty-gritty realism, but also the grand theatrical aspects of what the ballet really is. Like I said, I've never seen ballet filmed in this way, where it's so up close and personal, but I think it really works. It makes you feel like you're dancing on stage with them, and I actually felt exhausted by the end of the film. I thought that the final performance on stage was very well shot. It is beautiful. It makes you feel like you're up there and it's really up close and intimate, but like I said, it never loses that grand spectacle, that feeling of the theatre. You don't lose that, and it's a testament to both Darren Aronofsky and his DP that they managed to do that, because it's a very difficult thing to do, but they pull it off brilliantly. What I found quite fascinating about the film is the audience that my friend Mike and I saw it with were primarily teenage girls, and I don't know what they were expecting from the film, whether or not they knew that it was going to be a psychological thriller / horror, but a lot of them seem to be quite weirded out by a lot of the scenes in the film, not least of which is the now infamous lesbian sex scene between Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis. So I found it quite fascinating that the trailers have attracted that kind of demographic, and then the film single-handedly alienates them. And I really feel that way about Darren Aronofsky's career. He really does enjoy just getting something that's uncomfortable to look at and thrusting it in your face, and I really commend him for that. It's not many directors can do that and pull it off in such an artistic way. So all in all, I think that Black Swan is a brilliant film. If I was to compare it to another film in Darren Aronofsky's career, I would say Requiem for a Dream is its nearest associate in that you follow a character's downfall, mental illness as well, and you see it from their perspective. So you have an unreliable narrator, so you're not sure what's real and what's not either, until the very end. And so I think if you were going to compare it to his other work, Requiem for a Dream rather is its nearest kind of sibling, and it is a fantastic film. It features great performances. It's beautiful to look at. It's riveting as well. It's very well paced. Like, it didn't feel long at all. I think it was about an hour and 45 minutes ish. I think, I could be lying, but it felt like it was progressing and moving forward constantly. It was a very well paced film, and completely engrossing. I really enjoyed the film. I was completely in it for the whole thing. So for that reason, I'm going to give Black Swan 5 stars and thoroughly recommend it to anybody who kind of wants to experience something a little bit different in the cinema. Go and check out Black Swan.